So now we start making up our own in-betweens. An in-between works like this. Your first frame has a circle here, the third frame has a circle here. So you need to do the one in the middle, which would be there. And that creates movement. Keep doing that over and over and over again, and you know, the more you add, the smoother it gets. So because this is quite a complicated movement, it's got a camera swing involved, where it starts looking straight at the character, goes to a 3/4 looking down view, until finally ending in a profile, which is quite heavily zoomed out. And this is something we're going to have to create artificially because our reference material did not cater for that. So they're the ones I'm going to focus on first, is the ones where the camera will shift dramatically. So this is the first one. We need to create a new blank frame. If you've got your shortcuts set to Studio, press R and that will increase the exposure by 1. Select that frame, delete it, and you're left with a blank one. Activate the onion skin, which is over here on the left. Turn that on and we can see these brackets will appear and will show green and red outlines going either way. If you press Q and W, those brackets will snap in to being just one frame either side. I'm going to start drawing in blue from this point because it's different from red and green. And I'm going to imagine roughly where each of these components would be halfway between. So that hand would be like there, shoulder would be around there. So again, still super rough, body still kind of around like that. Where's the other hand going to be? Remember to keep scrolling between frames as well so you can tell. So the arm is quite... Where is it? Oh, that's a thumb. So the hand is back there in the body in that one. And it's off over here in that one. So we will see it in this frame. It'll be around there. Next camera angle happens on here. This fist one is actually that transitional frame, but we're going to need a couple of them. So this fist is still more or less going to be in the 3/4 view. It's not going to be halfway between here or here. So I'm going to put the head around here so that we can have a nice like close-up eye in the final thing. This one, expand exposure and delete the keyframe there so we get another blank in between the close-up fist and the wide view. This is going to be the main camera transition from here. Fist needs to be halfway between these 2 points. Oh, which is about there. And the head about there. Elbow, shoulder. Alright. Camera transition's done. If I pull this red bracket in here to frame 12, and up here activate looping frame and hit play. Wow. Not very watchable yet. But by holding A and S, we can scroll through. What I'm doing now is just watching it over and over again to get a feel for where more transitional frames would need to go to help smooth this out, because there's a number of frames completely front facing, a number that are completely 3/4, and a number that are completely profile. And I want the whole animation to be gradually moving. So this is one reason why it's all in stick figures and it's all quite fast, because none of these drawings necessarily have to last. So I'm going to create another in between of these two here. That's a big jump, isn't it? So delete that onion skin back on again. So to summarize this process so far, decide where you would like an extra drawing to be added, extend the exposure of the drawing beforehand, and delete the second frame. This will add in a gap. Turn on the onion skin, you can see either way, and draw in the parts where you envision them to be. This animation contains a few slower parts and a few quicker parts. Towards the beginning, as the camera moves in towards the face, that section I want to be quite slow, so it's going to require more drawings. However, when it turns around him, he speeds up quite dramatically, so it needs less drawings. So I'm keeping an eye out for where I need to add more in, but also where I want to take some away. So for example, have a look at this red one here that has the 3 circles going down its shoulder, elbow, and wrist. I really like this drawing because I like how the arm is straight and the hand is right up next to the camera. But looking at the rest of the movement around, I feel it's simply not going to work. So although I like it, I'm going to ditch it. Also, just a reminder that every keyframe which was a drawing over the video reference material has been done in red, and every in-between done since then has been in blue. Most keyframes are going to get at least one in-between to help flesh out the movement, but likely we'll get more and more layered on as we feel it's appropriate. So the fist is only just going to start coming into view in this one, so I'll just imagine that it might be there. Remember, not everything will necessarily make it through to the end. We are just thinking about movement, not form or anything else, which is why everything is so damn scribbly. One between those two as well. Now this one's a bit different, because when you're doing the in-between, you're naturally going to think between these two fists is going to be there, right? But that's not the case. He's swinging around. So sometimes you might want to put in a curve, or just kind of imagine where that's going to go, so you know that fist will be there. Naturally as well, that hand which is back here on the red frame ends up all the way back there on the green one, so its swing is going to be all the way around like that. I don't like that drawing. All the power is lost because he pauses his movement to wait for the camera to zoom out, which is super dumb. So I'm going to drop that frame, and instead, because that's all from the same angle, I can just grab all of that and make it bigger. Yeah, that's better. Hang it up a bit further like that. Okay. So you can see a lot of this is trial and error, and it's kind of just feeling for it. When you get really good at it, a lot of traditional animators, they're freaking nuts. They can just kind of take a timeline like this and just be like, oh, okay, so there's the start, there's the finish, there's going to be like an action thing there, another keyframe there, and in-betweens that kind of go out like this, and, you know, just kind of chart a whole movement out in their heads on a spreadsheet thing. It's very, very clever. But when you're just starting out, it's a lot more fun and a lot more natural to just keep watching it over and over again and looking at it and feeling it and thinking what's working, what isn't, what's going to feel more epic. And we're not even really dealing with timing much yet. We're still just looking at what poses will be interesting with quite a complicated movement. Right now I'm studying the flow of the path of the head as it starts off in the middle, arcs up around here, and then comes like that. So, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, as it kind of tends to pause, but that might be alright, because then we get to digest the expression as it comes around. But what I do want is a couple more in-betweens on the last three, between those two and the final one, so that I can ease off this camera movement, not have it a sudden thing. So this guy's going to get a little bit bigger as if the camera movement's still happening. With the onion skin on here, we'll continue that idea. Super scribbly, who cares? No one. And finally, the camera move will conclude only by the second last frame, if that. Maybe it's still going. We'll decide that later. Yeah, more power, more power, more. He's not shooting lightning. It's not that kind of movement. He's probably decking someone or punching a brick. So that's starting to look alright. Alright, so that is in-betweening the rough poses Done. Next is timing. So come back next time, we're going to arrange these frames so that it feels like it's really, gonna wreck something. Yep, use your words. Thanks for coming by. I hope you got something out of it. If you got stuck somewhere or something was a bit tricky, or if you have an idea for something else you'd like to see in a video, please let me know. In the meantime, you can check out some of my other stuff in those links just there. But thanks again, and I'll see you again soon.